Hello, everyone, and thank you for viewing this presentation. Today, I will discuss competency-based education and how it relates to the development of democratic citizenship. This presentation is based on my essay, which examines how competencies can be understood not only as skills for the labor market, but also as moral and civic competencies. Sorry, capacities that support human progressing and public participation. To guide this presentation, I will begin with two key questions. First, uh, how can competency-based education contribute to democratic citizenship? Second, uh, are competencies simply functional skills, or can they be understood as virtues needed for a meaningful and ethical life? These questions uh, have us examine whether competency-based learning supports market efficiency or fosters democratic and moral development. Competency-based education has become a central model in lifelong learning and educational policy around the world. However, many programs still prioritize job readiness and employability. As a result, there is tension. Should education primarily serve the labor market, or should it cultivate citizens who can think critically, participate democratically, and act ethically? This tension is the foundation of today's discussion. My main argument is that competency-based education should not be limited to the needs of the economy or workplace. Instead, it should contribute to forming responsible, ethical, and participatory citizens who can engage in democratic society. In other words, uh, competency must include moral judgment, civic responsibility, and public listening, not just efficiency or performance. Competency-based education already contains elements that support citizenship. For example, the OECD in 25 states that key competencies include critical thinking, cooperation, and social participation, not only technical skill. Likewise, Hoskins and Crick in 2010 journal article argued that competencies are linked to developing active citizenship, meaning the ability to participate in public decisions and democratic life. So, competency-based education can support democracy if interpreted appropriately. However, there are also risks. Some researchers argue that competency-based education may reinforce neoliberal thinking. For example, Toss and McKinsey in a 2019 study warned that the competency discourse is sometimes used to produce competent workers rather than critical citizens. If competencies are reduced to employability checklist, education becomes a tool of the market, not a space for public good or democratic learning. To move beyond the risk, we can use theoretical frameworks to reinterpret competency. First, Masha Russobaum in a 23 journal article argues that capabilities should allow people to think aright. They have listened to value. Biesta, this view links competency to dignity, autonomy, and moral agency. Second, Gert Biesta in a 29 publication argues that education should support subjectification, becoming a responsible person capable of judgment and participation, not just measurable learning outcomes. Both perspectives help us see competencies as ethical and political potential, not just technical skills. If we accept this expanded definition, right-wrong education becomes a process of developing citizens who can make ethical judgments, engage in democratic listening, participate responsibly in society. This means competency is not only about what learners can do, but who they become in relation to others. In conclusion, competency-based education has democratic potential. It can strengthen civic participation and ethical listening, but only if the concept of competency goes beyond employability. Competency must be shaped by a philosophy that values responsibility, public engagement, and human dignity. So I leave you with this thought. Competency must mean more than efficiency. It must mean ethical participation and human dignity. Yeah, this is my presentation, And thank you for your listening.